Participants in the study were shown business reports from two brokerage firms, and their task in the experiment was to evaluate which of these companies had a higher chance of being successful. Now, both had Turkish sounding names that were completely made up. The first was relatively easy, the first name that is, something like Artan Limited. The second was a name that was a little bit more difficult, something like Tahut Limited. Now, there was no way to tell from the reports which of these companies stood a higher chance of performing better. In fact, the reports were somehow, confounding. What a rational person would have done would have been to average the two reports and give both companies equal chances of succeeding. But is that what they did? No. The participants decided that the prospects of Artan Limited were greater than those of Tahut Limited. When a name is easy to pronounce, is familiar in its structure, or it just sounds smooth and rhythmic, it is more likely to be judged favorably. And separate studies have shown that people with easier to pronounce names are instantly judged as more trustworthy. They are also more likely to be rated positively in hiring or promotion scenarios. Also, by the way, they are more likely to be elected if they decide to run for office. And it's not just, even products with names that are easy to pronounce are perceived as higher quality and safer. Companies with soft, easy names perform better in the first week of their stock being issued, right? So in fact, in a study, Swedish investors were presented with these company names, and they judged that the companies that had easier to pronounce names were likely to earn higher or to perform better business-wise than the companies that had names that were a little bit harder to pronounce. In fact, I personally have three names. Fouabe Amin is my traditional name. Marcel is my English/French name. I am Cameroonian. And Li Fu is my Chinese name. The name I choose depends on who I am addressing. I try to go for the name that might sound easy and familiar to you, so your brain perceives it as positive, as familiar. Do you think this whole idea makes sense?